In this video, I'd like to discuss free radicals and aging. Free radicals are compounds that force other compounds to either accept or give up a proton or an electron. We've learned to harness free radical reactions in industry to make things like plastics, glue, and bleach. But these same reactions can happen inside our bodies as well. Skin can become brittle like plastic. Arteries can fill with plaque like glue, and hair can turn gray or white like bleach. Let's learn a little bit more about free radicals and what they do, and how we might age more gracefully. There are three main free radicals that we have to deal with: superoxide, hydrogen peroxide, and the hydroxyl radical. Let's talk about superoxides first. Superoxides are oxygen molecules with an extra electron, and they're formed in one of four ways. Toxic metals can form them, our immune system can generate them, ultraviolet light can make them, and a misfiring cell as we age can make them. For the first cause, toxic metals, you might consider our Captamet, Dasamet, and Belumet, which we consider cutting-edge chelators. Our white blood cells will make superoxide in response to an infection, but if the infection is chronic, then we can have a continual source of superoxide radicals in the body. So you might want to do something to deal with chronic infections. You could consider Allergica, Limplex, Alvectin, and our UV reset technology. As far as ultraviolet light goes, consider wearing a hat in summertime. Finally, we have aging cells. All our cells use oxygen, but as we get older, cells can misfire and create superoxide radicals by mistake. When we're young, this happens very rarely, but as we age, it can happen up to 2% of the time. A muscle cell has to recycle up to 1 million ATP molecules per second, but if 2% of those cycles generate superoxide radicals, multiply that by the trillions of cells in the body, and that's quadrillions of superoxide radicals per second. So what do superoxide radicals do in the body? Well, they can knock off hydrogen atoms from collagen fibers. And the places where they do that, the collagen becomes sticky. And this means the collagen sticks to itself, and this is where you get wrinkles. It also destroys nitric oxide, which is responsible not only for circulation, but specifically in men for erections. Finally, superoxide radicals create peroxynitrite, which is highly carcinogenic. So superoxide is one thing we're going to have to learn to deal with if we want to age gracefully. The way the body deals with this is to create the antioxidant superoxide dismutase. One superoxide dismutase molecule can neutralize 2 billion superoxide radicals per second. But there's an issue. As we get older, we don't make as much. Also, superoxide dismutase doesn't get rid of the superoxide radicals. It alternates between getting rid of a superoxide radical and turning it into hydrogen peroxide. And it does this back and forth. So now we also need to learn how to deal with hydrogen peroxide. Like superoxide, hydrogen peroxide is also made by white blood cells to help fight infections. So again, we want to bring down the chronic infectious load. Hydrogen peroxide is also used inside the peroxisomes to break down toxic chemicals. So detoxification becomes important here. The less toxic our body is, the less hydrogen peroxide will make internally. Hydrogen peroxide is also what causes hair to bleach from the inside out. Scientists now believe that hair turning gray or white is a deficiency of the enzyme catalase, which is what neutralizes hydrogen peroxide. Catalase is the enzyme the body uses to get rid of hydrogen peroxide, and one molecule of catalase can neutralize millions of molecules of hydrogen peroxide every second. That leaves us with only one free radical left to deal with, the hydroxyl radical, and it is the most powerful of the three. It is formed when superoxide radicals and hydrogen peroxide and metals all meet at the same time. There are two ways that I know of to neutralize the hydroxyl radicals. One is you can inhale hydrogen gas or drink hydrogen-infused water. However, this can cause methane and hydrogen sulfide production in the gut. So, how does the body neutralize hydroxyl radicals? It does this by producing the antioxidant melatonin, which is also known to help people get a good night's sleep. Melatonin not only quenches the hydroxyl radical, but scientists now believe it can undo the damage that the hydroxyl radical caused. So what do we need to do in order to age gracefully? We need to deal with the superoxide radicals, the hydrogen peroxide radicals, and the hydroxyl radicals. All three of the antioxidants that can be used to neutralize these three radicals are found in our Rejuvelon product. These three antioxidants would normally be denatured and destroyed by stomach acids, and so very poorly absorbed orally. But Rejuvelon has them in a liposomal base, so we've solved the absorption problem. Okay, how well does it work? You may notice I look a little bit out of sorts. 12 hours ago, I was in a Chinese-made hyperbaric oxygen chamber at 1.5 atmospheres. 30 minutes into the session, the chamber exploded with me inside. It wasn't a slow release of gas. It was a catastrophic explosion where I went from 1.5 atmospheres pressure to 1 atmosphere pressure in a fraction of a second. This is a dangerous thing, not just because of the lacerations and flying parts, but lung damage, brain damage, and the potential for an emboli causing a stroke and heart attack. My lungs were pretty sore, and I felt like I got a really bad concussion. I could barely think. So I looked around. What did I have that might help? I grabbed a bottle of Rejuvelon and started taking them. I figured maybe they might limit the inflammation. When you have an injury, there is the initial injury, but that injury can then cascade and become worse as a result of inflammation. Within a few minutes, I had to rest, and I napped for a few hours. Likely a combination of both the injury and the high melatonin dose. I woke up a few hours feeling about 50% better, and now this morning, I'm mostly back to my old self. I can think again. My lungs feel a lot better. They're still sore. Would I have recovered this quickly without the Rejuvelon? I don't know, but I don't think so. I was pretty badly injured. If we think of aging as a kind of injury, then yes, this makes sense. So not only can these three antioxidants help with the chronic slow injuries like gradual aging, they might also be useful for acute injuries too. If you want more information, feel free to contact us. Take care.